activist, lawyer, and now the MLA from the Vadgam constituency of Gujarat, Jignesh Mevani has been making news for more than a year. In conversation with scholar and translator Chandan Gowda, Jignesh Mevani will talk about his Right to Land, Right to Life movement. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for both of them.
It's quite an extraordinary thing that he is with us today. Congratulations, Jignesh. I don't think I'll be wrong if I say most of us here were interested in the Vadgam constituency results, independently of what was happening in Gujarat. So, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Jignesh, to begin at the beginning, when you became interested in politics, or when the country learned of your interest in politics, it was in the Una agitation, and where you very famously said, we are not interested in cows, but give us 5 acres of land. And then you formed an organization, Rashtriya Dalit Adhikar Manch. Tell us about how you came to be interested in land.
So, since I don't think in English, it will be combination of English and Hindi both, and I'll keep disappointing you as well. See, if we analyze the Dalit movement of last 2-3 decades, particularly post-globalization, when the material contradictions have got sharpened and the disparities between two classes have increased, rich and poor, and Dalits always being the victim of twin exploitation, caste-based and class-based. In this scenario, their struggle for their material benefit or economic upliftment or the material issues should have been even more rigor. Instead, somewhere Dalit movement got kind of chalk up or entangled into too much into identity politics. So we kind of got ourselves entangled into Manuvad, Brahmanvad, Murdabad, but not talking about our roti, kapda, makan, health, education, the real existential issues. So when Una happened, because of the entire politics of Gai Mata, it was my sincere attempt to not only just discard their communal agenda. When I say Gai ki pooch aap rakho, you keep cows tail, meaning I don't agree with your politics. Cow is not a holy cow for me. So discarding that only discarding that, only rejecting that is in a way reactionary. But when I say you keep cow's tail, give us our land, there I am also setting my agenda. I don't remain just reactionary. So when I say Modi's model of development is not inclusive, then in next 2-3 years I will have to deliver at Vadgam. Then what model of development I can propose? And that not just on the level of rhetoric or idea. I have to establish it through my practice. So that is where the slogan came. कि गाय की पूछ आप रखो हमें हमारी जमीन दो. तो आत्मसम्मान की जो लड़ाई है, the struggle or the fight for self-respect and the struggle for our economic issues, our existential issues, both go hand in hand. Because the way in India caste and class are intertwined, interconnected, you have to struggle against caste and class both. That way maybe someday we will be able to liberate ourselves. Maybe that way we'll be able to, maybe that way Indian society will become casteless. The project of annihilation of caste would become a material reality. Not just only by the struggle for our self-respect, but also for the, by continuous struggle against class as well. So, yeah.
Jignesh, over the last 10-15 years, there was some talk of Dalit capitalism, that it was important for Dalits to get into business and become entrepreneurs, etc. And there was a heated debate around that. Curious about what you feel about this matter.
See, ideologically, I don't subscribe to the philosophy of capitalism because it is, the kind of situation we all as a nation are put in. or even globally. You know, as on today, our first and foremost priority should be to see to it that the constitution is implemented in its true spirit. Our, you know, nobody is without shelter. You know, not a single children die because of any health related issue, or you know, there is no malnourishment. So all these basics should be achieved first. Then the next step should be to keep struggling to ensure that there is least gap between two classes. And maybe someday, in the final analysis, as we call it, if we are able to become a classless society, nothing like that. So it's obviously I am against, in that sense, capitalism. So then how can Dalit capitalism be of any good? Of course, there is a feeling amongst Dalit that Dalit community haven't produced much industrialist. Dalit communities haven't produced big capitalist. But my problem is that if you belong to scheduled caste, and if you come up with a private company or a corporate house or industrial group and exploit 1,000 workers belonging to Brahmin community, then I'm with them against you. So that is very clear. So, so philosophically, I totally discard the idea of Dalit capitalism, but let few entrepreneurs come, let some capital come to us also, so that we can come up with some new innovations, some new entrepreneurship, some new businesses, some new ideas. But largely, as a philosophy, it is detrimental to Dalit cause.
How did you come to be attracted to this philosophy of anti-capitalism or non-capitalism?
See, to put it in Marxist terminology, I belong to a very bourgeois background. And I still remain one, still surviving on the surplus produce of the working class. But yeah, so, you know, during the college days, I studied in very ordinary schools and colleges. But during my formative years, my concern got politicized. You know, my father is also politically very active now, but 10, 15 years back, that was not the case. That was not the case with myself as well. I am a very late comer on the scene. I became full-time activist at 28, 29, which is very late if you compare with the ones who are engaged into students' politics as in today. So that way I was very, very late. But during the college years, one of my professors, Soumya Joshi, his place would always be dominated by a hero who belongs to some basti or chawl or working class. And he would always, with a lot of energy and fire, talk about the plight of the working class, and that the hero would rise always and always from the working class background. And that way, bit of developing some left perspective into me. And then after quitting journalism, I joined late comrade Dr. Mukul Sinha, who's a very renowned human rights activist lawyer who has done a lot of work for the victims of riots, encounters, for the industrial workers, slum dwellers, for the various sections of the society. So he had a party called New Socialist Movement. So I became the member of the party, did a lot of trade union work with that. And during those dialogues and discourse with them, during his trade union struggles, my left perspective started building and became anti-capitalism. But you know, it's like there is no rocket science. Even if somebody doesn't understand any ism, the kind of society we are living in, the kind of gap between rich and poor we witness, you have to be on the side of the poor, you have to be on the side of the have-nots, you have to be on the side of the working class. Because the wristwatch that I put on, this bottle, this table, this mic, all these are the products of human labor. Nothing is produced without the human labor. So the thing we as mankind needs to most cherish is the human labor. So, yeah.
Completely agree. But you know, one of the long-standing criticisms of left activists in the country has been that they haven't taken religion or religious imaginations or the religious life of people in India seriously. As something to understand, let alone something to work with as an activist, how have you thought about engaging the religious life?
The kind of thinkers and intellectuals and the activists and the political activists left who produced all these years and the way they have contributed, though some of them couldn't greatly catch people's imagination, I would not make any remarks against them because मेरी वो हैसियत नहीं है. इतने बड़े-बड़े लोग इस देश में लेफ्ट के बैकग्राउंड से पैदा हुए. बट या वन थिंग आई वुड डेफिनेटली से दैट no matter how pure or perfect your ism is, no matter how sharp intellectually you are, no matter how brilliant analyst you are, you have to come up with such agitations and movements and demonstrations and protests and politics by which you are able to catch people's imagination. If we have great content, but we are not able to catch people's imagination, and if we can't bring them into our movement, then we can't crack certain things. My victory of Vadgam can be attributed only to that. You know, so that somewhere the left doesn't have that populist, and the populist is not a healthy word, I know, but that populist appeal is somewhere lacking. So maybe that is also one of the reasons. And there is various kind of rigidity as well. That rigidity is amongst, it's not just amongst left, it is among the Gandhians as well, it is amongst Ambedkarites as well. So somewhere we all, including me, you, everybody, the ones who belong to certain ism, we all need to get ourselves out of the pettiness we have imbibed all these years. So, yeah.
You know, I've listened to a few of your speeches, and you are comfortable about naming Marx, Ambedkar, Phule as people who inspire you. Are there other figures you would add to this list?
Bhagat Singh, greatly. Yeah, Bhagat Singh. And but I haven't read Marx or Phule greatly, but their idea of creating a classless society, or Marxist basic principle of is labor theory of surplus value, giving enormous importance to the human labor, that appeals me a lot. And you know, ultimately in the of course, as I said, that our objective as in today should be to create a society where there remains least gap between two classes. But ultimately, if it becomes a, you know, classless society with no violence and celebrating the individual freedom and liberty, nothing like that. So Bhagat Singh has inspired me a lot. And had Bhagat Singh and Gandhi and Baba Sahib, had they all been till 70s or something, then the India would have been a different society. Because they all would have evolved, they all would have changed their positions, they all would have compromised, they all would have learnt, they all would have got matured, and their ideas would have, you know, so, yeah.
Jignesh, on the question of labor, you know, we have a great saintly tradition. Every saint was a laborer of some kind. You have Ravidas was a chamar, Kabir was a weaver, you have a potter, you have carpenters, you have blacksmiths who were searching for the God while working. And they had a vision of equality of different kinds of labor. And it's an older history, much older than Marx. We have a 1,000-year-old history of saints of talked about how different kinds of labor are equal in worth, and they have also tried to have a vision of equality. The most perfect model in terms of a model is from Karnataka, the Veerashaiva model that said labor is God. You have a radical tradition here. I don't hear this coming up in your understanding of reform or striving towards changing our institutions.
So that is one of those 1,000 things which I don't understand,
Yeah.
or which I haven't studied, or which hasn't come to me, or to which I haven't gone to.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of time. Jignesh, another thing that intrigued me.
Nothing is more scary than the fact that because of my profile in mainstream media, it is assumed that I may be knowing wow, so many things.
Jignesh, this is actually an important, you know, it is not about the being knowledgeable. It's an extraordinary sense of forgetting that.
I'm actually, I'm very poor intellectually, and I really need to read a lot. It's been like 2 years I haven't read a single book. The way I keep busy these days post UNA. So that is the greatest afsos I carry all these days. साला कुछ पढ़ नहीं पा रहे और हम ही जनता को ज्ञान दे रहे.
So, Jignesh, a comment you made recently was fascinating, and it needs elaboration, and I would take this opportunity to ask you.
But just to interrupt for 1 second, बात ह्यूमन लेबर की हुई तो मोदी जी भी खुद को कर्मयोगी कहते हैं, by the way. And And he very famously came up with this book called Karma Yogi in 2009, published by government of Gujarat, where he um, shamelessly, which is a very common feature in his character, so shamelessly said कि सफाई कर्मियों को सफाई काम करने में आध्यात्मिकता का आनंद मिलता है. So I mean, you know, that kind of karmi yogi he is. He wants people to die in the sewage for $200 and get divine pleasure out of that.
This is a pseudo appropriation, bad appropriation of a great idea. But Jimmy had another question. You said recently that let's give up politics of hatred and you believe in the politics of love, which was fascinating to hear. So tell us more about this politics of love.
I'm so happy that it still sounds so fascinating. The way the entire politics of Hindutva brigade has been is always revolving around hatred and divide. And it's always been a very divisive politics, targeting one particular caste and the people belonging to one particular religion, Muslims in particular. So, and that's why these 28 people got killed in the name of Gai Mata. That's why this Ghar Wapsi and Love Jihad. So, when they do campaign for Love Jihad, I have decided to come up, with a slogan, कि Love Jihad के सामने एक ही जवाब, प्यार इश्क मोहब्बत जिंदाबाद. So, and not just to let it remain on the level of rhetoric, this time we'll be celebrating Valentine's Day. And we have decided that in Ahmedabad there are 3-4 pockets where the lovebirds sit together and do the things they want to, and holding hands or kissing or whatever. So there these Sangh Parivar people go and start throwing potatoes and tomatoes. So we are going to go with roses and flowers. And we are also thinking to screen some of the fields of when the love is the center point. Let it be silly films as well, no issue. But let us celebrate love. And we want to, क्या कहते हैं उसको, अभिवादन करना, facilitate the ones who have done intercaste, interreligious marriages. Because, you know, Baba Sahib Ambedkar was so, they believe in the Sanskriti of Savarkar and Gowlarkar, so they come up with love jihad. We believe in Baba Sahib Ambedkar's philosophy of annihilation of caste, so we talk about intercaste marriages and love. And he was so modern that in 30s he talked about intercaste marriages. It is very interesting that during my campaign, the day of elections was the 14th. 14 तारीख को वोट करना था. 2 दिन पहले 12 को 1 लाख पर्चे बांटे गए कि जिग्नेश मेवानी की पहली प्रेमिका एक मुसलमान थी. So some media person asked me next day, so what is your reaction? I said कि 30,000 ज्यादा खर्च कर दिए, 17,000 मुस्लिम वोट है, 1 लाख पर्चे छपवा दिए. So that is their sickness of mind. You know, what you do with my girlfriend? What you have to do with her caste, her religion? Somebody has written an article in janchok.com, is a web portal, Janchok. So he's saying, through his sources, he's claiming that Vijay Rupani has formed a squad, and one of the agent of that squad would be to find out who is my girlfriend and what caste or religion she belongs to. So, encountering this is very important. Without, see, without annihilation of caste, we can't create a new society. Simple. We can't create new India. And when I say so, I don't mean that that is the only problem this country has. I also don't have that bimari. That bimari is a greater problem. So, without classless society, new India cannot be created. And for the annihilation of caste, intercaste, interreligious marriages are vital. Now, without Pyar Ishq Mohabbat Zindabad, intercaste marriages, interreligious marriages would not take place. So, it is all interconnected or linked with each other.
You mentioned elections. Tell us a little more about the election process. How did you go about it? Who supported you?
Actually speaking, I'm extremely happy that I won the elections. not for personal reasons, but it is you all are so happy. I'm extremely happy that my electoral success is given so much of energy and happiness and hope and whatnot to all, like, to hundreds and thousands of progressive and pro-poor forces of this country. It is so stunning. It is supreme. You know, it's overwhelming. Nothing is more exciting than this. You ask any intellectual or any genuinely concerned citizen of this country, they will be so happy with my success. So that is the real success. What came out on the day of results, elections results day, some 93,000 or something votes, it's a dead figure. But the victory is here, that everybody is so happy and they all want to contribute. And the kind of grammar of electoral politics is, it generally doesn't go with our kind of people, very frankly speaking, though I've cracked it. It's a very problematic grammar. You know, it's a grammar of giving daru ki theli and spending enormous paisa and doing tadjod and what not. So it's still, I would still, only because I won, I would not claim that we all can crack it. So it's been very difficult, and it will always remain very difficult. But the way, the kind of response I got from the ground zero, it was such an impractical decision on my part, as I took it so late. I was probably सबसे late decision गुजरात में जो 182 MLAs है उसमें सबसे late किसी ने decision लिया है to contest the election. That was me, and my parents got to know that I filed the nomination through media. So that decision, it was definitely an impractical decision. But people in Vadgam, in my constituency, realized two things about me. कि आदमी ईमानदार है. That it stuck to them. It got convinced. In कोई भी गांव में मैं जाऊंगा, and I will speak for like 8-10 minutes, they will get convinced for two things. कि ये assembly में जमकर बैटिंग करेगा. And he's honest. So these two things greatly clicked in my favor, and so many people from from Karnataka, Kerala, Delhi, Mumbai, Jammu Kashmir, Rajasthan, UP, Bihar, so many people came. Cadre of Aam Aadmi Party and BSP sympathized in campaign for me. CPI campaigned for me. CPI में Liberations MLA Sudama Prasad campaigned for me for a week. Swaraj India's Yogendra Yadav campaigned for me. Congress's cadre campaigned for me. There is an alliance. There is a National Bahujan Alliance of 28 Dalit Bahujan political parties and groups. They campaigned for me. All these people coming together, only to see to it is that I go to the assembly. So what else you ask for? It has been a fabulous experience. Though that grammar doesn't go with our kind of people, at least not with me, but the kind of love and affection they showered on me is sublime. And nothing less than 200 Muslim women must have kept rosas for me. Some of the Maulanas went for ittikaf. You know, बहुत सी हिंदू बहनें ने मन्नतें रखी होगी. अब हम तो मंदिर में ना जाते हैं ना मस्जिद में जाते हैं, फिर भी इतना प्यार और the kind of energy youth generated, it was incredible. And इलेक्शंस के रिजल्ट के 2-3 दिन पहले ही हम लोगों की पूरी कोर टीम बैठी थी. तो not that we knew कि 110% we are winning. It can go either way. But as a whole, as a team, as a collective, we had that feeling that we have won, because we could win the hearts. That definitely happened. So,
Jignesh, any lessons, political lessons from this experience of campaigning and winning?
yeah. Political lesson is this. Today we are living in a time where there is great impact of social media. There is tremendous impact of mainstream media. So you have to use all these mediums with sincerity, and whenever there is an opportunity, you have to always come up with some new, fresh, innovative ideas by which you are able to galvanize masses. You can mobilize them, you can join them into their struggles, you can catch people's imagination. So some popular appeal you have to generate, you have to create, you have to develop, without which cracking things electorally is very difficult. And भलाई का जमाना नहीं रहा is nonsense. क्योंकि when I went to Vadgam, I had 8,000 bucks. I am the poorest declared MLA of Gujarat. And हमने जो प्रॉपर्टी डिस्क्लोज किया है, द प्रॉपर्टी दैट वाज डिस्क्लोज इन बाय बिफोर द इलेक्शन कमीशन इज समथिंग 10,50,000, out of which 10 lakh is the insurance that my father has done for me. So at 37, I'm worth 37,000 rupees. So this also gets conveyed to the people. People in this country are great. They are incredible. They are very, very receptive. And the kind of patience they have shown, my God, it's terrifying actually. And so, yeah, so me and Kanhaiya also, when we met personally and when we chat, when we talk, we strongly believe that though the idea of creating a classless society doesn't come through the assembly or parliament, some people should crack it. Our kind of people should definitely go to the assembly, to the parliament, and such people should go to the assembly and parliament who know what is activism, who know what is the struggle on ground zero, who would again sit with you on the dharna, who will again go out to hit the streets for the fundamental constitutional rights of the people, right? Who don't go into any hawa. जो फिर कुर्ते पहन के असेंबली में ऐसी चेंबर में बैठे रहे, ऐसे लोग नहीं जाने चाहिए. So I had promised to the people of Vadgam during my campaign that even if you don't vote for me, and even if I lose, it's my commitment. From the next day morning, I'll start working for the people of Vadgam. And the results came out on 18th December. Next day morning, on 19th, I submitted a memorandum to the Banaskantha district collector saying these are the 8 villages, सड़कें नहीं है, बनाना चालू करो वरना सड़कों पे उतरना आता है हमको. So those people should go to assembly and parliament who don't forget where their roots are, who don't forget the importance of Chunibai Vaids or Mukul Sinhas or Prashant Bhushans of these countries. So those who don't forget that the struggle on ground zero is so important. And those who have a tremendous respect for the ones who are engaged into people's movement. So though I've been able to crack it electorally, I primarily remain an agitator. So I always used to say in my speeches कि मैं 2% ही politician हूँ, 98% आंदोलनकारी ही हूँ, और वही मेरी सच्ची और असली पहचान है.
How was it to work with Hardik Patel? I mean, you were giving speeches and it created a mood. I mean, it was important to work with two others to create this mood of...
Hardik has turned out to be an incredible man. The kind of progressive ideas and the values we cherish, the kind of training we have undergone through, the kind of discourse, debates and contents we have indulged ourselves into all these years, we rightly get apprehensive with regard to the people who come up with demands of reservations and all. But it is too early to discard them by calling them righted forces. The same has happened with the case of Hardik. And you know, history and politics are such gatishil things. You know, it's so all the time changing and moving, and so we can't be very rigid about Hardik also. So this was my clarity. So it was my clarity that he or his idea won't be able to distort me, but I may be able to shape him. That was the clarity with which I started working. Once he said that he believes in the philosophy of Bhagat Singh and also Bal Thackeray. So I wrote a Facebook post, brother, sorry, हमें माफ कर दीजिए. But then again I realized that he's just 22. He's not communal. He doesn't believe in Hindutva ideology as such. So the role that he played to expose the Gujarat model, this Triputi that Hardik, Jignesh and Alpesh continuously they charged up hundreds and hundreds of youth. It is always complaint of our kind of people that at the Freedom Park of Bangalore, धरने पे वही 200 लोग आते हैं जो लिबरल और प्रोग्रेसिव है जिनको बदलना नहीं है. That is the same complaint with the civil society and activist fraternity of Delhi कि वही लोग जंतर मंतर पे आते हैं जिनको बदलना नहीं है. वही हमारी भी कंप्लेंट है अहमदाबाद लाल दरवाजा सरदार बाग पे कि वही 200-250 लोग आते हैं जिनको बदलना नहीं है. तो नए लोग आंदोलन में जुड़े, वो नहीं जुड़ रहे, वो लगातार कंप्लेंट हम भी कर रहे थे. लेकिन ड्यूरिंग द दलित मूवमेंट दैट इमर्ज्ड पोस्ट ऊना, or during the movement of Alpesh Thakur, or during the movement of Hardik Patel, Gujarat has produced hundreds of new, fresh, young activists. So that is such a positive sign. And Hardik, the way he has exposed BJP and the way he took position against Narendra Modi and BJP of Gujarat, it's incredible. And very soon I would love to take him to Bricklins, to the Nakas where the construction workers sit and stand, to the pockets of industrial workers, to the chawls, to the slums. I want him to take a look at the X-ray of the phefda of the industrial workers. I want him to see what the occupational health hazard and disease means. I want to take him to the, you know, the working class pockets. This exposure he doesn't have. So I will keep exploring things with him and keeping the fingers crossed. He also has all the right to keep the fingers crossed for me. But there are matching points. There are matching points. If Una happens, I wish, I definitely want that let there be registration of offense. He would also not say that let there not be registration of offense. He also wants an FIR. So that is a matching point. This we all need to understand. The kind of risk of fascism is looming large over our head. You know, be it Gandhian, come. Socialist, you also come. You believe in the Samajwad of Marx and Lenin, you join the struggle. You believe in the Samajwad of Gandhi and Vinoba, you also come. You believe in the Samajwad of JP and Lohia, you all come together. First, defeat these forces. Stay united. From that unity, the struggle will emerge. And maybe from that struggle, some ism will also emerge. And we agree to disagree on more than one thing. How does it matter? We agree to disagree. So this openness, I was also not having. I was also very rigid. लेकिन in last 2 years we have also learnt a lot. हमने भी बहुत सी FIR जेले हैं, गालियाँ खाई है, सीखे हैं, गिरे हैं, खड़े हुए हैं. तो हार्दिक के साथ इसी तरह का मेरा ट्यूनिंग आगे बढ़ता रहेगा. I would not discard him. I would not reject him because he is not discarding and rejecting me. So I will always be in search of the points where we can come together.
Jignesh, I mean, of late, you've started talking about youth politics, the need for youth to get organized, and you've been at the forefront of articulating something like a youth politics in recent times, with a few others, of course. So what are the difficulties of mobilizing a youth movement here, and what do you think its priorities are?
It's actually a bit difficult. And, you know, I don't know why, but except it's a great sign the way Shaila Rashid and Kanhaiya could come up. I could come up on the scene. The struggles that we witnessed at Pune FTII or HCU or Jadavpur University or JNU or Ramjas, it's incredible. It's great. But had there not been that attack, then whether this kind of movements would have come up or not is a real question. So maybe we need to work a lot, and that's why very soon we want to launch a campaign with regard to the issue of unemployment. If you see my any Facebook live, if you see my any public speech, be it with the 10 people, or be it this kind of seminar or conference kind of thing, or be it some huge public gathering, there won't be a single speech, there won't be a single news channel debate of mine where I will not talk about unemployment. Because, you know, that is the real material issues. Why Ghar Wapsi? Why love jihad? Why Gai Mata? ये एक artificial शत्रु खड़ा करना चाहते हैं. This has always been the feature of fascism. They create एक काल्पनिक शत्रु वो खड़ा करते हैं ताकि असली लड़ाई से हमारा मुद्दा हट जाए. तो असली लड़ाई क्या है? असली लड़ाई ये कि देश के 36,000 हॉस्पिटल्स में 2 लाख डॉक्टर्स नहीं है. प्राइमरी स्कूल्स और अपर प्राइमरी के स्कूल्स पे 10 लाख टीचर्स की कमी है. देन व्हाट 68-year-old youth with 56-inch Sina is doing? So, इसी मुद्दे पे अब मैं पूरे देश में हम लोग कुछ कैंपेन लॉन्च करना चाहते हैं, एंड होपफुली द लॉन्चिंग विल बी फ्रॉम योर सिटी बेंगलोर, एंड दैट टू वेरी सून. 2 करोड़ रोजगार दो या तो रिटायर हो जाओ. So yeah, I was very conscious when few days back I said to the news channels that Modi should Modi ji should get retired and go to Himalaya, is he actually become very boring. He's actually become very, very boring. He's become very pakao. He has no content left. He can't deliver. He could not deliver. He has no ideas. He has not been able to perform. He is actually a symbol of grand failure. He actually couldn't deliver. उसको सचमुच नहीं आता है. नहीं आता है. पूरी दुनिया में घूमते हैं, but he can't come up with 10 ideas by which the jobs can be created. Not that I have 10 ideas, but he's PM. I think once in a while he should make some sense. We don't expect it regularly from him. At least sometime, you know. And he's all the time talking about Pushpak Viman, but uses Adani's jet. भाई पुष्पक विमान ही मंगा लो, उसी में उड़ो. अदानी के जेट में क्यों उड़ते हो? So this also needs to be placed before the people of this country, that this man cannot deliver. He is incompetent. He can't. उनकी डिजायर भी नहीं है और आता भी नहीं है, दोनों ही उनके केस में. और यदि है तो मुझे गलत प्रूव करें ना, हमको, यूथ को, इस देश की जनता को 2 करोड़ जॉब का प्रॉमिस दिया था. 4 साल हुए, 8 करोड़ देना था. अब 50% को इंप्लीमेंट करता तो हम ऐसा कहेंगे यार 50% तो काम बाकी रहा. 10% को इंप्लीमेंट कहेगा तो हम कहेंगे इट्स पैथेटिक इंप्लीमेंटेशन. बट 10% ऑफ 8 करोड़ जॉब्स वुड मीन 80 lakh जॉब्स. Forget about 10%, even 1% he has not been able to create. Not even 1% delivery. Such grand phenomenal failure. So, इसी मुद्दे के ऊपर पूरे देश में एक जबरदस्त डिबेट, वो यही चाहेंगे. मैं पूरी वडगाम की कैंपेन के दौरान कहता था कि आप पूछेंगे कि पेट्रोल डीजल के दाम क्यों बढ़े, तो वो कहेंगे कि पाकिस्तान वाले खराब है. आप पूछेंगे कि शिक्षा और चिकित्सा की हालत क्यों खराब है, तो कहेंगे पाकिस्तान वाले बहुत खराब है. आप कहेंगे 60 रुपए किलो के भाव पे बिकने वाली दाल 160 पे क्यों बिक रही, तो कहेंगे पाकिस्तान वाले बहुत खराब है. 2 करोड़ युवा को रोजगार क्यों नहीं मिला, तो पाकिस्तान वाले बहुत खराब है. मुझे एक जगह पे गांव में पकड़ा, भारत माता की जय बोलो, मुझे सब लोगों ने घेर लिया. इट्स वेरी ड्रामेटिक. वंदे मातरम बोलो, तो देन आई वाज इन अ फिक्स. बोला क्या किया जाए. सो आई सेड ओके, वंदे मातरम, 2 करोड़ रोजगार नहीं मिला. आई सेड भारत माता की जय, 15 लाख नहीं आया. So these people have also started realizing कि भारत माता की जय, वंदे मातरम, ये पूरा रेटोरिक के पीछे का प्लान क्या है. अब ये रियलाइजेशन इज नॉट इनफ. Along with that realization, setting our agenda, we have to start campaigning and struggling for 2 crore jobs.
Jignesh, we are running out of time. I have one question I need to ask you. What are the immediate tasks you have set for yourself as an MLA of Vadgam?
See, not to sound very romantic, which I am naturally, but 5 minutes to go. Okay, no issue.
Do you have time for Q&A afterwards? It has to end in 5 minutes?
अरे 5 मिनट में 5 तगड़े छक्के मारूंगा, चिंता मत कीजिए. So very frankly speaking, though Vadgam is my constituency, it is not the only constituency. Dalit movement of all the weaker sections of the society, movement of working class, youth movement, these are all my constituency. So, confining myself to Vadgam only to see to it that I win next time is very selfish. At the same time, those people who invested enormously in me, I had nothing. I was a newcomer. I took the decision so late. I had no resources. Still they give so much of love and affection. Then I must deliver at Vadgam as well. So I will be kind of dividing myself into 3 parts. A, focus on Vadgam, where Modi ji belongs to Vadnagar. So against Vadnagar model of development, we will come up with Vadgam model of development. That is one. Two, to focus on Gujarat, to shape Dalit movement and to transcend the Dalit identity. Though I belong to scheduled caste, I am not confined only just to the issue of Dalit community. If you see my 10 years work and background, I work for the victims of riots, encounters, sanitation workers, industrial workers, farmer suicide, the struggles that will be led by Gandhian activist Chuni Bhai Vaid. I would always participate. I would participate with the left, Gandhians, everyone. So I always engage myself into the variety of causes. Still, there is a lot to be done in Gujarat also with regard to public health and education. So one focus kind of, hypothetically, 10 days for Vadgam, 10 days for Gujarat for the various movements, and 10 days for campaigning nationally. Because this should also be my agenda, that if Modi ji became a prime minister of this country with 30% vote, if through continuous efforts amongst Dalits and Muslims and youth, if we are able to bring 2-3% down, and 2-3% come down through the working class and the farmers movement, and dead person from the youth movements, then he can't become PM. So that is how I'm going to do it. But yeah, one favor I want from all of you, and that is related to Vadgam. The favor is very simple, and you know, I genuinely believe, not to sound romantic or modest or anything, I genuinely, sincerely believe the kind of love people is given to me, the kind of excitement they have felt and got after my victory. Vadgam has to become the constituency of each progressive pro-poor force of this country, not just mine. So if we can teach the voters of Vadgam how to file an RTI, come to Vadgam. If he has some idea with regard to planting solar panels, please come to Vadgam. If you are expert of Manrega, come to Vadgam. If you want to screen short films and documentaries and have this kind of festival, do it in Vadgam. If you have some ideas for watershed management, come to Vadgam. Right? If you're a painter and you want teenagers to learn painting, do that experiment in Vadgam. If you want to, if you want to come up with any kind of idea, किसी को आप बेंगलोर में की कॉलेज में चाय पी रहे और कहीं से पता चला कि कैलिफोर्निया में किसी बुजुर्ग को अपने दादा के नाम पे 12 लाख खर्च करना है, तो भाई वडगांव में लाइब्रेरी करो या वडगांव में पीएससी करो. Yesterday I met one doctor in the flight. So he gave me the promise that in next 30 days, he's a doctor. He will create a panel of 7 doctors, and उसके एक महीने के बाद I will give him the name of the village where he will be doing a medical camp. So in next 1 year, hypothetically, assume for the sake of argument that I am able to find out 210 doctors. If we divide it into 30, so each team will have 7 doctors. Meaning, one set of doctor, 1st of March, they do medical camp. The same would do it in either April or May. So in next 1.5 years, there won't be a single village in Vadgam, in my constituency, in which there won't be a medical camp for my side. So, उसमें जो diagnosis होगा, that we will link it to PSC, sub-center and CSC with the district hospital. There I will come to know whether the medical facilities and medical staff are as per the Indian public health standard norms or not. Then on the basis of that, I can make noise. I can create opinion. I can file PIL. I can sit on the dharna. So, if you are in touch with any expert, if you are an entrepreneur, if you want to give me some idea, come to Vadgam. Let Vadgam develop collectively and produce it as a great model of development. So that is the agenda. ऐसा भी एक dream है कि there are 146 villages in the constituency in Vadgam. So पूरी दुनिया में से at least 46 ऐसे लोग मिल जाए पूरी दुनिया में से 5 साल तक जो एक गांव की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ले, क्या कमाल हो जाएगा. तो वडगाम में धमाल कर देना है. Vadgam should become most cool place. It should become very, very happening. It should become one of the most romantic place. That is the idea. There we will do intercaste marriages. There will be doing various experiments with regard to organic farming. Variety of चीज वहां पर करना है. So still this is at the level of idea, but Marx beautifully said, in the final analysis, it is the ideas that become material force.
Thank you, Jignesh.
One should ideally end with some poetry. That's why Marx.
Lovely. Do we have time for questions? Or? Thank you, Jignesh. Wish you all the very best. It was great to have you.
Thank you so much.